do know some of the industries to the north have both, depending on the type of water that's being used. So that may be the case here, but again, we don't know the specific use yet.
The city and county have an agreement between one another that you don't really have to change the annexation. You can attach to the city or county water system without annexation.
Right. There is an agreement for provision of water and sewer services. One of the options is to annex in, and then that makes you eligible for city services.
Or you could be annexed in.
Correct.
It does not have to be annexed in.
No, another option is they can request extraterritorial provision of water and sewer services, which is a whole separate process, and that's just for utilities. So that's an option as well. And my understanding is it usually comes with a different water and sewer rate to go with it, but again, that becomes a development process negotiation.
So if the applicant decided that he wanted to stay in the county, for example, that option is still there.
Well, correct. They submitted an application voluntarily. If they wanted to withdraw their applications, they could do that.
Okay.
You have a question, Commissioner?
Yes.
This is at their request. This is not at city request.
And I have a question, somewhat technical, staff may not have the answer, but this particular intersection of Howell Road and Inner Perimeter, does it have any kind of history for an inordinate amount of accidents? Do you have that kind of information?
I do not have that at my fingertips. I do not know what the crash report data is for this intersection. My guess is it's fairly low just because of the rural nature around it, but I do not have that data.
Okay, I don't have the answer either. So my next question is, points of ingress, egress. Will they be strictly off Howell Road, or will they be allowed to have ingress, egress off to the Inner Perimeter?
Inner Perimeter has a very steep grade on that back slope, so I would count that as impossible and not likely to be approved by Georgia DOT anyway. Their only frontage is on Howell Road. They do not have direct frontage to Inner Perimeter.
I just think that
So Howell Road would be the means of access.
And can you give me a quick and dirty on how do you get a railroad spur all of a sudden if you want one? How does it?
We'll have to negotiate with the railroad that's providing the spur. The applicants can go into those details, but my understanding is those conversations have already started. And they can explain that, and part of that discussion is not only if they can connect to the railroad, but where.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Further questions for staff?
I was just going to make a comment to Commissioner Hightower. If I remember correctly, I think there was recently a terrible accident at that, one if not two, where a death occurred, if I'm not mistaken, so.
I was just contacted by some citizens who consider that whether they're right or wrong, a somewhat dangerous intersection.
Yeah.
And it may be worth maybe thinking about some changes there,
Right.
traffic light or something, if this happened to go through. So,
And as you know, sometimes with certain types of development, particularly ones that generate a lot of traffic or truck traffic, there may be a traffic study that's required. There may be mitigation that's required as part of that. It all depends on what gets developed.
Matt, south of there is a big church, New Life. There was no opposition or any comments because that will affect traffic flowing throughout there along with what you're saying.
We only had one inquiry in the planning office, and that was from a nearby property owner. It was not the church. It was asking what the proposed use was. That's the only contact that I'm aware of. But being the only really occupied property that's on to the south is the church, I expected an inquiry from them, but I did not see one.
since I've been on the commission, we've had a multitude of annexation cases, mainly requesting to be annexed into the city. Does that have to be, in an annexation, have to be agreed by both the city and the county before it can take place, or what is the procedure for that?
The procedure is under state law when we get a proposal for voluntary annexation. We have to give formal notice to Lowndes County. They have up to 30 days to respond to that request and raise objections pursuant to state law. And in this particular case, and thank you for reminding me, that 30-day clock is still ticking, I think, till the end of this week. But whenever they respond, if they respond, we can then forward it on to the city council.
Well, the reason I ask is I've never heard an annexation come before us that was, contentious or all against, but maybe it wasn't, I just didn't know.
Well, like we talked about at the work session, we do voluntary annexations. Since 2006, every annexation into the city has been voluntary.
Okay.
2006 was the Islands annexation, which many of us remember. And before that, since I've been around a long time, there was one in 1995 that was by act of the General Assembly. Otherwise, for the past 40, 50 years, everything's been voluntary. There are other methods of annexation, like the 60% method, which is the referendum, and to my knowledge, we've never done that here.
Mine was purely a technical question, I just didn't know how it worked, I never heard any feedback, so.
This is where the property owner has to request in writing to be annexed, and then they accompany that with a rezoning petition to change from county zoning to city zoning. And that's what we process.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. We'll now open this up for the public hearing portion. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in favor of this case? Please come forward.
Cody Taylor, 2661 Old Stateville Road. I'm here on behalf of the design team for technical questions. What I can't answer, I will find out and answer for you.
And Sheldon Hill, y'all know me by now. Apparently I'm internet famous. That was not my intent, I assure you. Lake Park resident, so.
What can you tell us about your project here?
When we start, yeah. So, and to keep it very, very simple, we thought we were attempting the path of least resistance. We want water and sewer and gas. And it felt like at the time, especially when you look at the north part of that, right across the railroad track, there's approximately 16 properties on that same line that's all annexed in the city, from the railroad track to inner perimeter. So being that we're on that same side, and the city owns the water and the sewer and the gas, that felt like the path of least resistance. We weren't trying to cause any drama or anything like that. And also too, when we ask about that agreement that you guys mentioned, I don't get clarity when it comes to the fees that's attached to the utilities. If we stay in the county and we ask to have access to the water and sewer and the gas, what those fees actually are versus if you're annexed into the city. So again, it felt like at the time the path of least resistance, to where I don't want our end consumer, whoever that may be, to pay an inflated rate on their water, sewer, gas versus what would be a known fee if we're annexed in, if that makes sense.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, and not only the guarantee of the water and sewer, as far as we know, it's not guaranteed if we stay in county. It's up to the city commissioners.
Right, it becomes a negotiation between the two governments, final decision rests with the city.
And I've been part of some cases where my company has where that vote has been no. So that is where we steered Mr. Sheldon and say, hey, you want to guarantee water sewer? You annex.
Well, at this point, all we can do is vote on the case that's before us regarding the annexation
Right.
and the rezoning within the city of Valdosta. So if there is some hesitancy, then you'll have to determine that.
Right. That's been hard to get, so.
Right. Well, you have a little time until the city council meets. You can withdraw at any point. So for now, we're just going to rule on or make a recommendation on these two items.
I appreciate the simplified answer, because I wondered what the benefit to you was to go through that.
That's it. Absolutely, that's it.
So in a perfect world, would be your option to stay in county and use city utilities? Is that what you're telling me?
In the perfect world, to add to that, and the rate was exactly the same, whether we stayed in the county or if we annexed into the city.
But the unknown of what that rate is if you stay in the county is what's kind of pushing you toward annexation right now, is the unknown rate.
It's the unknown.
That's horrible, yeah, I know.
Yes, sir, which is why we're standing here today.
Should be
That's
published
exactly
somewhere.
right.
So, I mean, it's been said, I mean, so would wellness septic tank, I mean, is that an option for you? I mean, I'm sure it is, but.
I would rather not go that path. No, sir.
It really depends on the end user.
Huh?
It depends on the end user, what they're doing
Yeah, because
there.
then that limits,
Yeah.
exactly, that limits us on what you can do there. And the whole idea is to maximize the property for the best use. And to just make, I mean, literally the water, the sewer, and the gas touch the edge of the property. I mean, it's literally,
Correct.
you can walk right to it, it's right there on the edge. So, I mean, it would only make sense to tie into what's there, but it comes to when we can't get clear definition about rates for acceptance.
It's a safer alternative for sure, go annexation.
Further questions for the applicant?
Yeah, that's sitting here bugging me. I'm sorry. That bugs me a little bit.
What, Tom?
You got water that's already there, and you're trying to, and it's almost like we're trying to force the hand of somebody that wants to stay in the county to go to the city, to be annexed in and be charged more. But your water's already there, they're gonna put it there anyway if you annex it in the city, and don't charge them less. I don't understand that. What's the purpose of that? You understand what my question
It
is?
is, you're asking a development question, that's not what's before you, and I'm not the utilities director.
And I
So,
will say it happens in Ahira all the time. I mean, pretty much if you want to do your development, you're gonna have to annex into the municipality if it's touching and they have to control the utilities typically.
And this may be a very naive question, but why is this not a published rate, something that is known? Why does it have to
Yeah,
be such a?
that's what disturbs me.
That's probably an issue.
You're exactly right. It should not
I
be.
mean, it's a formula, right?
Not be
I mean,
negotiated rates in any means.
There should be a yes, if you decide not to go with us, this is the rate that you will pay moving forward.
it's a lot of hoops to go through. Yeah,
All right,
just to repeat, no one's forcing the annexation.
correct.
And there's other things available for city services besides just utilities. Sometimes other things become one or more of the motivating factors for a property owner to request annexation. So there's lots of possibilities here.
Thanks, Cody.
All good?
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
I have just one more question, technical
Sure.
question for staff.
Of course.
In the event someone is annexed, and, well, that, no, I withdraw the question, that doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
Possibly,
Okay.
just not for
Can I just ask, Matt, I'm just curious, have you ever seen the city council turn down the request if they don't get an annexation?
Turn down what?
To provide water and sewer.
Yes.
You have?
But I thought that was a mutual agreement between the county and the city.
It may have predated that. It's been,
The mutual agreement means like both sides have to agree.
and I don't think, and that's a question for managers and attorneys to answer.
Well, you don't have an agreement then.
True.
In essence, it's an agreement. If you're not, one's not an honor, the other one, you don't have one.
Yes. But we're not voting on that tonight.
True.
We're voting on this.
That's what's more interesting than annexation. What's
The applicant can withdraw his application if he would like to change his mind. All right,
Come on.
go for it.
In the event an applicant decided to remain in the county and apply for city water sewer services, regardless of the outcome, let's say he was granted this service, and eventually the county reached him for their services, he could obviously revert back from the city to the county once those services did reach his property, is that right?
That would be part of the development review process where all that gets decided.
And I don't know that we
Streets.
I didn't say he did not get
Can we
it.
have the chairman come up? Sir,
Yes, would you like to speak, Mr.
I
Chairman?
would be glad to.
Either for or
provide a
against.
little bit of clarification.
We have time either for or against, so come on up.
Or neutral.
That's right.
All right, thank you. Chairman Bill Slaughter, here with some of the commissioners. Our concern is not really about annexation. Our concern is the process that property owners are being forced into annexation based on the delivery of water and sewer. So we're fine with it. We have a procedure that's in place. It's an intergovernmental agreement that we enter into with the cities, whether it be Hayhire, whether it be Lake Park, and or Valdosta, that will be able to provide services to a piece of property that chooses not to be annexed. Now, if they choose to be annexed, that's their decision, and we're all in support of it. Certainly, if it meets the guidelines of annexation, we're not going to push back on that. Our concern, though, is when we've got citizens in Lowndes County that are basically being told that their rates will be double or more if they do not annex to give city water and sewer. Now, from what I'm having, and I'm in the middle of the research right now, my understanding, we have the service delivery strategy that you all are very aware of, and we've fought this battle for many years. But inside that agreement, it states this very issue and addresses that. I'm going to get that. I talked to Mayor Matheson this morning about this issue, and he said he is unaware of being charged extra for services if you're not in the city of Valdosta. He also checked with Ben O'Dowd with the engineering department, and Ben clarified he does not tell the individuals that is the situation. So our concern is just standing here. We want the citizens in Lowndes County, the city of Valdosta, and everybody to be treated fairly. There is a process if you choose not to be into the city of Valdosta or any other cities. There is a viable process in place, and it is that intergovernmental agreement that we end up entering into, and all it amounts to, they can come basically, what it says, City of Valdosta can run water and sewer into the unincorporated areas of Lowndes County to serve a piece of property. That's the agreement and the intergovernmental agreement. And so the rate, we don't like that, and we feel like that it is coercion to force people into that. But once they do that, I mean, that's business they're going to have to deal with. But the documents that we have right now, to my understanding, does not allow that to happen. But it is a rumor that's out there. I verified that it is strictly a rumor based on what the mayor told me, based on his information from Ben O'Dowd, the city engineer. That is not supposed to be taking place. I hope that made that clear to us.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Slaughter. I do feel like it should be stated as a percentage or some form, this is what the water will be if it's
some type of published rate or formula.
You would think, yes. You're gonna pay 20% more for your water if you don't annex or whatever that may be, but it should be stated in some. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to speak in favor of this case? Please come up.
Thank you. I'm very nervous, so y'all please forgive me. The piece of property that is right next to this piece of property.
I'm sorry, yes, can you
Oh,
state your name?
I'm sorry,
and address?
Jenny Spivey. And this property was taken out of our, it was sold, but it was part of our family farm. And when it was sold, I was told by one of the owners that it was going to be would be residential. So this is a big shock to me. When I got the letter, I was very surprised. And I just want to say that the property actually slopes very deeply down into wetlands. Not the one right next to it, but the one owned, and that's my brother's property. And it is My concern is about soil quality, groundwater, private wells. I am deeply concerned about what this heavy industrial is going to do to our property. We've been there for over 100 years. So we didn't, it's hard when it's a family farm and you have to break it up. And not everybody agrees, but, and I currently live in St. Augustine, but it was my plan to move back here and live on the land that was part of my family farm. So I'm just saying that to just say, I'd like to know what the protections are going to be for us. Because it's, you can't just put up a barrier because the topography of the land goes straight down toward wetlands, and those wetlands are precious to us. So anyway,
Ms. Bobby, where exactly is your land in relation to the traffic question? Are you
I'm right next to
oh, you're
it.
behind me.
And I put it immediately in Kuva, to show I'm committed. So to having this agricultural for myself, and also had hoped, like I said, to put a house there. St. Augustine's gotten very expensive. But anyway, so that was so I was a little bit shocked about how this went down, so.
They will have an approval process for all of their plans, the whole set of plans, including engineering and everything, and they won't be able to dump where there will be retention and everything else that will keep you from being affected from that.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that closes the 4 portion. Is there anyone here that would like, oh, I'm sorry.
Opposition.
Your opposition, okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak in opposition of this case? Step up and tell us your name and address.
David Harris, 3162 Boring Pond. I'm at the first paved road to the right off Highway. 2 problems here. To Ms. Roundtree's question, yes, very bad intersection. They had a Lowndes County school bus driver that killed an infant there here recently. They've had 2 teenagers from Eccles County that's been killed at this intersection. Multiple wrecks. It's every morning. You've got a school on Howell that school buses come off of. You also have Moulton Branch down there that school buses come and catch right here. According to GDOT, they cannot put a red light there because of the overpass. It's too close. And from what I'm understanding from GDOT, there is nothing right now that is looking to put a roundabout, 4-way stop or anything there. And I believe, Mr. JD, I spoke to you, and from what I understand, it took 15+ years for the roundabouts at 5 Point to get approved by GDOT. My concern to this is that's the first piece of property at that stop sign. So anything that comes off of Howell, how is that going to knock back the traffic up from the trucks coming from the sand pit at Mayday, the trucking company that comes off Howell, or all the school buses, or, as my commissioner knows, everybody from Eccles County cutting through at Boring Pond Road and not taking Statenville Road. When you start taking trucks off of this right here on the Howell, how is everybody, even New Life? Because New Life has a drive right there on Howell that they turn off of. How is this going to keep from more accidents happening at this intersection? There is, from my understanding, has there even been before this even gets voted on, has anybody done a traffic study? I understand you said that process is later, but if we're coming from a planning committee for somebody to do manufacturing, why at this intersection has there not been something done before the planning committee even votes for it to go anywhere? Very bad intersection. I mean, it speaks for the Lowndes County school bus driver. That was an infant. I mean, this is bad. There's been many wrecks. You can park on Howell on the bus barn side, and literally, by the time you turn to the right and see them coming around the curve, you've got to look right back to the left to verify nobody's coming over that overpass. Very bad. The traffic is terrible, but my concern is just like the lady just spoke. On Boring Pond, I have a creek that runs through on my property, and Cody's very well because he just surveyed for me. The water that runs, if you look on the map, everything that comes down that railroad track runs down the backside, crosses over Howell, and runs down to that creek and comes to me. In turn, it runs over Old Stateville Highway, which in turn runs by the treatment plant out here in Lowndes County. So my question is 2 things. Where's the traffic issue here? And just like Miss Spivey said, that's her property next door that she plans on building on. Where do we stop where we don't have no more accidents at this intersection? That is a GDOT road, where the county road at intersections. There's got to be a leeway somewhere to say, hey, look, this was up, wouldn't have a problem. But you're right here at the stop sign of this property. If you're talking about semi trucks coming out of there, tanker trucks and all that coming out from manufacturing, how is everybody gonna get from Howell, Boring Pond, and ever out that way without this traffic? Because right now, it gets backed up when school's in, all the way back past Boring Pond Road, around that curve. It is bad. So to her point, Ms. Roundtree, yes, it is a very dangerous intersection, and the wrecks and the crosses set out here speak for it right now. Take a trip out there and look at crosses on the sides of the road. They're on both sides. There's got to be a stopping point somewhere where this intersection, it's a well-known intersection. That's bad. We got to have a stopping point somewhere, ladies and gentlemen, where this gets looked at before we start putting manufacturing on this side. It's different when we got road crops. They're there a week out of the year, 2 weeks out of the year. But when you start putting manufacturing there, we've got to have some guidelines somewhere. How are these people going to get on the highway? Because they can't get on inner perimeter with GDOT. That's my concern with the planning. We approve this, if it goes to the city, as Mr. Mayor Mattinson's already said, when y'all gave them the property up there on 4th Street by Georgia Military College, he said the city just grew by so many acres. It's a land thing for them, a revenue thing for them. It's not who's out there in that area. Other than that, that's what I think.
Thank you for your concerns, questions. Is there anyone else here that would like to speak in opposition of this case? There being none, we are closing the public hearing portion of this case. Further questions for staff?
I'll ask one quick one. What about the traffic study, has that been done? Don't y'all do that?
We do as part of the development process. This is raw land. One, it's not quite 20 acres, so the acreage of industrial zoning is not enough to trigger it. We do not know the specific use, so that's a lot of the knowns to it. But the development review process does include the possibility of a traffic study, depending on what's being proposed.
Anyone else, further comments?
No, I think we just need to keep in mind that right now, what's in front of us is annexation.
All right. Well, we will first hear a motion on the rezoning request. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Bailey?
on VA 2026-07, would you like this broke down between city and county, or how would you like to do this, sir?
Well, it's a city case.
I know, I'm just, but we got two subject properties, one changing the county or whatever, or you just wanted to lump sum?
Let's just do it as a whole rezoning of
Okay,
the, as it sits.
I understand that. So I make a motion on VA 2026-07, that we approve the request for rezoning.
All right, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Roundtree seconds. All in favor? All right. All opposed? Okay, the rezoning request passes. Now we will entertain a motion considering the annexation of said property into the City of Valdosta.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner
VA 2026-08, I don't know quite exactly how this needs to be framed. But to deny the annexation request? Is that the way it should be framed, or how?
Correct.
Okay.
You make a motion to
Recommend
deny.
it.
Yeah, I recommend denying of the annexation request. Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Hightower. All in favor? And all Well, this closes our case